If you guys do like these fanfiction type videos, then get hyped for Spider-Man Last Hunt, which is going to be a Minecraft film made by myself, which is going to be an expanded fanfiction in a fan film form on Minecraft. If you are interested in that, make sure to hit that subscribe button and make sure to stay tuned for more information. Yo, what is going on, you guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Spectacular Spider-Man fanfiction series. This episode is episode 3 of season 3 continuation. If you have not already, make sure to go and check out the first 2 episodes. I'll leave a link to episode 1 in the description. Sorry about all the wait on this episode. I've had some trouble with the documents and corruption, so I actually lost all my plans for the season. However, I've been working very hard on conjuring back up all the storylines and plot threads, and I think I have a pretty solid plan. But without further ado, here is episode 3, Health and Safety. We start our episode with Peter out late as Spider-Man. He returns home and crawls through the window, trying not to make too much noise to alert Aunt May. He's hoping that she fell asleep, as if she didn't, she'd be on his case about how late it is. Peter gets changed and goes to check on Aunt May. He can't find her downstairs, in a bedroom, or anywhere. Peter starts to freak out, however notices that his spider sense isn't going off, alerting him that nothing bad has happened or is happening. He was just about to call Anna Watson, Mary Jane's aunt and May's best friend, before Aunt May opens the front door and walks through looking tired and worn out. Peter goes and hugs her, exclaiming that he thought something bad had happened, asking, "How is she in so late?" Aunt May says that they changed her shift so that she's working later today at Feast. Peter says that he was worried and says that they need to put her on the earlier shifts because she had a heart attack not too long ago and she needs to be careful. Aunt May says that she's fine and asks Peter if he wants anything to eat because she's a bit peckish. Peter jokes around saying that maybe she's the one who needs a curfew out of the two of them. After this sweet moment, we switch around and are introduced to Mac Gargan. He enters a room with a sinister voice talking to him. We can't see the figure, however he tells Mac that he can get revenge on Spider-Man. We then get a flashback scene explaining Mac's past. Mac's family died in a fire in his apartment during the Goblin-Spider-Man fight. The Goblin threw a bomb at the apartment, setting it alight, his family not making it out in time. Spider-Man had time to fight the Goblin, but not enough time to save his family, and he wants to show Spider-Man is a fraud. So now he has gone to see someone known as the new Big Man, or that's the name he goes by his associates, whose ideals align with Mac. He also wants Spider-Man dead too, after him screwing up his plans in the last episode. The new Big Man says that he can make Mac powerful and strong with some new technology that him and his associates have built. Mac gets into a machine and the man turns it on, and the Scorpion is born using genetic recombination to give him the super strength of a scorpion. We cut to a scene of Peter swinging from the top of the Daily Bugle, narrating to himself the whole Harry and Gwen situation again, saying that he'd give Gwen a call, but he thinks it's best to talk about what's been happening in real life rather than over the phone. He needs a real conversation and a real talk. He then enters the Bugle to hand photos into Jameson from the Spider-Man and Puma fight earlier in the week. Jameson takes the photos off him, and on the way out he bumps into Liz Allen, who has gotten a part-time job as a writer at the Daily Bugle. This interaction is awkward and Peter and Liz cowardly say hi to one another. However, Liz still seems miffed off with Peter after the whole breakup situation. Liz used her skills that Peter taught her in English to get a job. This goes on for a little longer until no other than the Scorpion attacks the Daily Bugle. He asks JJ who is the one that takes the photos of Spider-Man and how can he find him. And Jameson replies with, "You're not the first bozo who is coming here asking that question." Spider-Man then quickly appears on the scene as Peter was already there, and they fight. Spider-Man makes some witty remarks about what's the fascination with his villains and animals. Did they get inspired by the spider look, or is it just plain coincidence? The Scorpion starts getting really annoyed and says to Spider-Man that he ruined his life. Spider-Man jokes back saying that he's never met him. They fight for a little longer. Peter is trying his hardest to get the Scorpion away from the Daily Bugle so no one gets hurt. Then all of a sudden the Scorpion's power starts to diminish and he escapes. Spider-Man is confused at first at what just happened. Weird things keep happening around the city that makes Peter more aware that maybe something is coming. We then get a scene the next day where Captain Stacy is running another class at Midtown High on health and safety. He's teaching them to always stay out of harm's way of the police and not to run into dangerous situations. He teaches them what to do in situations if they find themselves caught up in the middle of an ongoing crime, or who to call and what to do. The class ends and Peter leaves and he sees Gwen. He looks for Harry too, but he's nowhere to be seen. Peter tries to shout her, but she runs off outside. It looks like she could be late for something, so he'll have to catch up with her when he sees her again. Peter visits the Daily Bugle the next day to see it wrecked. Jameson is on the phone with lawyers going mad. He gets off the phone and says that this place still needs to run a newspaper. He puts Peter and Liz, of all people, on the same case to uncover the mysteries behind the Scorpion, telling them to make it a top priority and a big story. Liz will write it and Peter will take the pics. He tells both of them to get out and let him sort this mess out before he flips anymore, and the vein in the top of his head pops. They leave and then have another awkward interaction, and it's a bit of a jagged conversation, but Liz says that they should keep this strictly professional to work and not let their personal lives interfere with this if JJ wants a top priority story. Peter agrees, and they do their research on the Scorpion to start the story and possibly find out where he could be or who he could be, but they can't find anything. They both say to each other that they'll come back to it later, but will contact each other if anything comes up. We then get a scene with Spider-Man narrating as he swings around the city. Peter saying to himself how awkward it is that he's working with his ex-girlfriend. The Parker look strikes again. What is he to do? What can he do? All these situations are all clouding Peter's mind. The Gwen and Harry stuff, something seems to be going down in New York, something big is coming, and now he has to work with his ex-girlfriend? What more could go wrong? We then cut to a scene where Matt comes into the big man for some more induced radiation. This time, he says he wants more, so he can be bigger, stronger, and more powerful than before. This time, he wants to kill Spider-Man for what he's done. This falls right into the big man's hands as well, as he laughs as he switches on the machine. We then cut back to Peter in school. This is a slower scene as he's just finished math class and he sees Gwen in the hallway. He shouts her name and she turns around. He says that he's been meaning to talk to her for some time, but she seems very on edge and a bit down. He says that he wants to talk to her about what happened this summer and why Harry has been avoiding him, and speaking of which, where the hell is Harry? But before Gwen can open her mouth, Peter gets a call from Liz. He picks up and Liz says that he's got to get down here now. The Scorpion is on the loose again. Peter says that that was Liz and he's got to go. Gwen says, Liz? And is really confused. Peter says not like that, as if she took it the wrong way, insinuating that they were getting back together. He leaves the school, leaving Gwen baffled. She is shocked, but then puts a stern face of annoyance on, which creaks into a face of sadness. What could be going wrong with her and Harry? We'll have to find out. Peter meets up with Liz, and apparently the Scorpion is holding hostages in a building downtown. Peter exclaims, "Hostages?" Peter knows that this is a job for Spider-Man. However, he can't just ditch Liz and use the excuse that he needs photos for the Bugle like he always used to, when that's literally where he's going now. He's going to have to ride this one as Peter Parker and hope that he can find a way to slip into the costume. Liz also says that she found something on who the Scorpion actually is. After doing some digging, apparently his name is Matt Gargan, from what the photos of his face lined up with facial recognition. Apparently, his family died on the night that Spider-Man fought the Goblin in a fire, and Liz believes that he wants revenge on Spider-Man because he never saved his family. Liz says that it's sad and that there's always two sides to a coin. You never know when someone's actually doing something until you actually know their backstory. Some people aren't all evil, and Peter is shocked. His eyes widen. He now realizes what's going on with the Scorpion, why he said that he ruined his life. It's because his family actually did die in that fire of the Goblin Spider-Man fight. Peter once again realizing the effects Spider-Man is having on other people's lives, not just himself. Life lost because of him. It plays on his mind as they approach the building. They manage to sneak inside. Peter says to Liz that this probably isn't a good idea, reminding her of what Captain Stacy taught in the lesson yesterday. Liz says that they need a good look at him for the description, and Peter needs a clear picture as well for the Daily Bugle. They make their way to the room and hide behind some boxes, but as Liz is writing, she drops her pen, and it makes a noise loud enough that the Scorpion hears them. Max says that they're gonna have more guests and ties them both up with the other hostages. Scorpion says that he's gonna start killing them one by one if Spider-Man doesn't show his face. He wants to show Spider-Man how many innocent lives are damaged by his very existence. He knows what he's doing is wrong, but he's lost everything and now just wants to prove a point to the person he blames for his family's death. Peter is in a tough spot. How does he get out of this? But before he can think any longer, Captain Stacy sneaks up the stairs and busts down the door and pulls out his gun. But before he can shoot, the Scorpion spots this and whacks his tail towards him, knocking the Captain back, but also knocking some of the pillars holding up the ceiling as well. The ceiling above Liz and someone else starts to come crumbling down. Peter doesn't have a choice and pushes both of them out of the way, with the rubble landing on him instead. Liz's eyes widen, shouting his name in desperation. She scrambles through the rubble as the Scorpion looms over her, saying that is one down. Then all of a sudden, Spider-Man comes out of nowhere, kicking the Scorpion in the face. Spider-Man and the Scorpion have an intense fight. Captain Stacy takes this opportunity, although injured, to get people out of the building while Spider-Man distracts the Scorpion. They come to a standstill and the Scorpion carries on explaining that he is the reason that his family is dead. Peter feels terrible about this fact and says that he's sorry he couldn't save his family. But this is not the way to go about this. Spider-Man, instead of fighting him, prolongs the fight instead, until Scorpion's energy runs out. Scorpion tries to escape again, but Spider-Man says not this time and webs him down. He says that he's already caused too much destruction, and threatened to kill someone as well. He starts questioning Scorpion, asking where he got his powers from, and Mac tells him nothing. Scorpion is taken away by the police. Liz is outside the building telling George that Peter is trapped under the rubble, you have to save him. But then an injured Peter Parker makes his way from the building, faking a limp. Liz runs up and hugs him as medical staff start to surround everyone. Captain Stacy says that it was brave what he did back there, but they need to be more careful and aware of what situations they're putting themselves in, for their safety. On their way out, Captain Stacy winks at Peter as if he knows something's going on that's a little bit fishy. Peter's eyes widen but just plays it off. We cut to the Daily Bugle. Liz hands Jameson the story and he's impressed, and Peter hands Jameson the photos and says that it's his usual stick, but it's not bad. Peter and Liz both leave JJ's office as repairs continue to go on at the Daily Bugle. Peter asks if he can talk about what happened. He says that it's been lingering on his mind this entire time, and if they're gonna start working in the same place, he needs to get it off his chest. Liz says go on, and Peter says that he's sorry for doing what he did. He didn't consider her feelings and that he's really sorry. He asks if they can be friends. Liz says that she loved Peter, and she still does. He hurt her, and she says that she won't be played like that again. So no, they can't be friends, she says. She says it'll hurt too much, and if she has to work with him, so be it, but that doesn't mean she has to be friends with him. She says they can be acquaintances. They'll see each other, they'll work together, but that's it. Liz walks off as Peter is shocked. He really hurt that girl, and there's nothing he can do about it. We cut to the big man. He says his plans are slowly being shifted to account for the destruction of Spider-Man, and he will find a way to conquer New York, one way or another. We cut to a scene of Peter approaching Gwen's house. We get a closing narration as he walks up. He says that he blew it with Liz, and maybe Jameson and the city are right. First feast to help the homeless after the Spidey Goblin fight, and now someone's family straight up dead because of the destruction? He just thought people were onto him for no reason, but he sees why now. But this isn't the time. Now is the time to focus on my Peter Parker problem, one that he's neglected for a while. He builds himself up but says he desperately needs to talk. He knocks on the door and Captain Stacy answers. He says, "Peter, what are you doing here?" And he says that he's here to see Gwen. Gwen comes to the door and Peter apologizes for leaving so soon before. She looked off. Is everything okay? Gwen says that it's fine, she knows he's a busy person. She comes outside and closes the door as if she doesn't want her dad to hear. She looks around to see no one's there. She then says that it's Harry, and Peter looks concerned. What about Harry? She says that he's missing, and he has been for the last couple of days. Thanks for watching episode 3. Hopefully you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and make sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell next to the subscribe button to not miss the next episode of Spectacular Spider-Man Season 3. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care and peace.